Okay, so let's work on the mouth for this episode. Um, let's start with inputting those texture parts in because usually I would ask you to, or I would suggest you to put in everything of that part before you start animating. For mouth case, for its case, I think sometimes better if you get 3 parts in and then animate some parts and then put other parts in, and you'll see. All right, so here we are. We have the first piece in, and this is the normal state lips, and I have it in. Let's go to the texture and see what else we have there. So if you recall my first or second episode where I talked about how to draw pieces for the mouth, because mouth has a lot of pieces that aren't shown at first, or in other words, if for its or for original draft or sketch, you may have its mouth just a smile or just a flat lips or just one simple piece, but then for animation purposes, you will need a lot more in there. And let's check out the lot more. In fact, we have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more pieces that are hidden at first. And by now, you should have drawn them out and have it in texture pack already. If you don't have these, then you need to go back to episode 2, where I talk about how to draw these parts or how to design these parts out. All right, we have the first piece in, and now I also actually have the second, third piece in for you guys to see. This is the under piece, this piece, so the lower lips, and lower lips aren't supposed to be there until the mouth opens. So when the mouth is closed, you shouldn't see that at all. Eventually, it comes out. So let's put it in first. Have this approximate position. It's due to changes, but let's put it in for now. And then you also want the background piece out, the inner side of the mouth. And there you go. Simple. Put 4 dots around it and put it in first. Now let's set up the open and close for these 3 pieces we have right now. Just do it. Go ahead and work on open and close, and then we'll put in the rest of the remaining 3 parts. Okay, so let's go set it up. Let's go to the upper lips, and then I probably don't need more polygons. I mean, currently it's just using a square, and obviously, as like I said, at least you won't have triangles and all that, or else you won't be able to accurately do those animations if you cannot distort it or reshape it the way you want. But since this art style, the lips don't get reshaped when it opens and closes, and that's why I don't need more. But I will need it to move its position. So let's go to the perimeter, mouth open and close. Let me think. Do I want to have the transformer doing that? No, I don't think I'll have transformer doing that. I'll just do it directly with the materials. All right, so let's go to mouth open. And let's do at 3, let me think. There's the normal state, half open and fully open, and I want one more at 0.2. Let me think. 0.15 or 0.2? Let's give it a try. Okay, so let's have one more for 0.2 for now, and if it doesn't work out, we'll come back for it. But let's do that. So we have 0, 0.2, and 0.5, and fully at 1, and that's our mouth open. Let's start with 0.5. 0.5 should be when it's sort of like this current state. So if it's 0 when it's closed, it should be like this. And when the mouth is open half, it would be like this. And the only change of the upper lip concerns it's when it's fully open. So let's select the upper lip, and why there's no green dots. Did I mess up? Okay, I did mess up. So I selected the wrong material. So what is mouth 2? Mouth 2 is the background piece. The background piece should not have mouth open controlling. So let's delete all that. Go back to the upper lips and do that again. Mouth open, add free keys, and do in 0.2. Now let's go to fully opened, which is 1.0, and we want the lips to go all the way up here. Here is good. I can do a little bit, yeah, just here, yeah, that's good. And now let's go to the lower lips and do that as well. Let's have the lower lips activating these perimeters, and this time is a bit different. When it's at 0 and 0.2, I'll just leave it that way. Actually, I'll hide them. For 0, I want you to go to opacity. Actually, that's not gonna work. So let's shrink it up. No, I don't want to. Let's shrink it up horizontally only, so that it doesn't get flattened too much. And I want it to be all the way up here. Thin it up a little bit, not too much, and then narrow it down to when it's completely hidden at this little corner tip. I'm going to turn off the red piece so that you can see it more clearly. Let's have this, and do the same for 0.2. Let's put it up here and hide it. So I'm going to shrink it up like this, maybe, and I'll completely hidden into the original piece, almost like it never existed. All right, that's how we want to hide it. If your art style have a very thin line to do the lips and you cannot hide it completely, there are a couple of ways to do this. Well, it might be case by case, so I'm not gonna share too much now. Usually people have their upper and lower lips the same shape as at first. So usually it's like a crescent moon smile, like a downward U, and the upper lips and lower lips would be exactly the same shape at the initial state, which means that they should naturally, when they overlap each other, they can actually overlap each other completely, totally eclipse, and then it would naturally hide it all, like hide completely. So it shouldn't be a matter for most cases. Mine is special because the lower lips is always going to be flat, and upper lips initial state is a this inverted V. So I'll have that for now. For a little bit more, I would go back to the lower lips at 0.00 and turn down the opacity to 0. So what it means, from 0 to 0.2, the upper lip will grow its opacity from 0% to 100%. Barely visible, and especially when you're zooming out, you don't see that much at all. Now, the reason for doing so is I'm trying to improve a little bit of technique, because previously when I first did this this project, when I always had the problem, same as most of my other projects, is that when I input the lip sync function that controls the mouth open and close, there's a problem because perhaps my mic is not too good, and it sort of pick up weird noises even the room is very clear, and what it does, it sort of shakes the lip, vibrate it up and down between 0 to probably 0.1 or 0.2 in this perimeter, because it's picking up weird noises and it thought I'm talking, and that's why it's reacting to it, responding to things. Now, but if I have this this area lockdown. So unless it's above 0.2, otherwise no lips will be activating at all or will be moving at all. Then I'm sort of locking the minimal phase of the mouth speaking, and hence the response sensitivity towards noises won't be as strong. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to lock down this area. But once my volume has gone beyond that and I'm actually talking, and then the mouth would open wide. So like you see right here, between 0.2 and 0.5, it is when it's actually speaking like that. All right, and so now what's left is doing beyond 0.5. How does the lower lip behave? And I think in my case, I would have it drop lower a little bit, not too much. So about this, or I can do a little bit more actually. I'll zoom out and have a look and see if it's actually okay. Maybe I'll turn up the red piece and actually give a little bit more sight to it. Yep, that helps you visualize a little bit more, and I think it's about that area. And then there's one little bit more. I want it to be a little bit curved. So I'm going to use the curve deform path, and well, I do need parameters then. I mean, I do need the anchor points because currently I cannot distort it any way I want. So let's go in and throw these babies in like that, and I'll do it simple, just like that. And the rest of the piece I don't really care, so let's have it automatically generate polygons, and that's all I need. So about that should work theoretically, but let's give it a try and have a look. Make sure I'm the right parameter, make sure I'm for controlling the right material, and let's hop in and draw those lines. So it's sort of flat now, and I want it to curve. Oops, I want it to curve downwards just a little bit. Maybe like that. And delete the blue piece. I'm going to delete the blue piece, and that's sort of the idea. So curve, mouth open, and obviously currently looks terrible, but we're gonna add those pieces, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. So we got these opening, and why I'm doing this is because I want to set the sort of the limit of the changes that it will make as I talk, as the character talks, and then I'll throw in the other pieces that sort of add to it and cover things up. So let's not select anything. Make sure it's clear, there's no deform or anything selected, and let's get into edit texture and throw those in. So we will start with probably the upper piece. Again, if you don't know what this is, you might need to go back to episode 3, I think, where I talk about how to draw materials and all that. And of course, it should be covering these parts. And this is the normal state, or at least this is what it's like. Actually, this is when it's talking at maximum. So let's go and give it those polygons that it needs. I mean, the parameters that it needs. And let's start planning what to do now. So we got the mouth wide open, and it still needs to be fixed because, or I can squish it. No, that's not a good idea, because if I squish this just simply downwards, this inverted V shape would also get squished, and it wouldn't match the original upper lip shape, and we'll start to see some colors bleeding into the mouth. So let's not do that. Let's give it a little polygons on the top part. We don't need much. We just need, maybe we can just do it like that. I don't really like, it doesn't matter because it's not too much of a refinement. So let's just select these two and then drag them down. Oh, actually this one as well. Oops. Control Shift and select, and Control to drag in. So I can stretch a little bit, not the best idea, but I'm gonna do that. Alright, so this should be when it's widely open, and that is the upper piece. So let's now get to the let's now get to the 0.5 state. For 0.5 I can simply drag it down, maybe like that, and let's give it a check. Yep, no bleeding, no nothing, and that's just perfect. So we got it checked, and and of course the 0, and 0.2, I need them to also drop down like the curtains. Alright, so I got this, I got this. Then again, I should have started as the normal state rather than open state, because all three of these basically don't change position, so why do I give myself 3 times the workload, right? So that's kind of dumb, but anyway, everything works out and looks nice. It's covering up all the pieces that I need to cover. And then I need the lower piece in, so select nothing, add a texture, and let's get that little piece at the bottom. And where is it? Oh, that's over there. Let's drag it over, zoom in, and I think I know where it's supposed to be. About this much. So the piece is in already. Little bit to be fixed, but let's fix it first. So I'm a little bit aware of the lower bit of this lip. It's starting to overlap the lower outline of the face, and that's a bad idea, especially when you have your head moving already. Yeah, you might get in trouble, because maybe it's okay for now. Maybe you said, I can go with it, but later on when you move your head around, realize that more and more break in. So let's prepare for that and start with a nice positioning. All right. To do that, we just need, like the upper lip, we just need an area to customize the shape of things. A little bit too many polygons, but why not? And I do not want to select anything but those dots I'm concerning right now. Did I get it wrong? Where are the polygons? Wait, what? And again, I worked on the wrong texture. Yes. I actually added polygons onto the upper lip, and that's not what I need, so duh. Okay, let's get it right this time, alright? Yeah, why did I not notice it at all? Anyways, let's select the mouthpiece and add in the polygons. Like that. Press OK. Okay. Now we select the lower ones and push them out. Oh, right, because I got the bottom red piece also sort of popping out. Yeah, I can move the red piece also, but I gotta do that to all the polygons, to all the parameters key points for the red piece. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go with whatever that's barely okay. Alright, so later on I'll check with different angles and see if it bleeds, but let's leave it that way. Okay, so let's get to this mouthpiece and say mouth open, and then at 3 points and 0.2 we get another one. Now we need it from 0 to 0.2. Again, nothing changes. Only beyond 0.2 I would have the lower part to drop down so that the red part shows up. To do that, we need those polygons in, and let's do it the traditional zigzag. That's probably good enough. Probably. And then I'll generate the rest. Okay. Okay, so we are at 0.5. Let's drag them down. Drag them, drag, and the last layer, drag. So now, between 0.2 and 0.5, this mouthpiece would let the red part show out without a problem. And then of course the rest of the, from 0.5 to 1, I also need that to happen. Simply select those polygons, drop them, drop them. Oh shit. Yep. There. Yeah, it started to bleed down there, so I'm a little bit concerned about how I'm doing this. Oops. There. Okay, so this part is gonna be tricky because, yeah, it's really a thin area where I can have this hidden. Whereas, unless I increase the limit of this, or I make it easier for myself by raising the bottom lip up. So let's have the bottom lip raised up a little bit. So let's not have it that wide open. And then there you go, we have more area to work with. Perhaps that's what we needed. Otherwise, it would require a lot more effort to microly do those dots and make sure it doesn't bleed and doesn't show up, like it doesn't bleed either side of the material. I'm noticing the upper part, the lower part is sort of half transparent. Why does it? Did I turn down the transparency? I don't think so. It's at 100%, and this mouthpiece is 100%. And also the lip is on top of the mouthpiece, but then it's half transparent. That's probably my bad at preparing the material, and partially it's because I may have stretched. Yeah, it's not that. That's the thing. When I drew the material, I probably wasn't at full opacity when I drew this line here, and that's why when I import in, obviously the original source was somewhat semi-transparent, and that's why we start to see inner part coming out. Maybe it's not so obvious when you zoom out, but when you zoom in, obviously is there. Well, I'm not gonna deal with it for now. But if you're preparing your stuff, then be careful with that. Do not follow my footsteps. Yes. And also I can work on the red piece a little bit, so to compensate that error right there. Oops. Okay, so what can we do? Can we control this? No, it's not about the red piece. It's about, yeah, it's between the lower lip and the white covering piece. mostly. And there's nothing that I can do with the red piece that would improve that, so I'm going to ignore that. Let's go to white piece and perhaps do a little bit more of refinement. Like that, maybe. And I'd say that's probably okay for now. You don't see much when you zoom out, only when you zoom in. So, yeah. Okay, so we got this done, and we're still missing one piece, obviously, and those are the two lines on the side. So that's the last part I want to put in because those are the minimal changes that I will need it to make during the animation. So let's get this piece in. I'm gonna have both as one piece instead of doing them individually. So move them in, do like this, and okay. Let me see how to do this. I can stretch it open as I open the mouth. I can have white piece covering them. Currently the white piece are not, I think they're the same layer. Okay, so yes, the white piece is not covering this part, and this part is at draw order of 550. 550 is also the red piece, so I cannot go lower than that. I need to raise the draw order of, or the priority of Z axis for the white piece. So I'm pushing up to 580 instead for those two. And this part, what do you want to do? So currently the white part are hiding them. I can first change them into the perfect shape. Well, that would be too thin if I... Well, I guess I have to squish them and stretch them. And I can do that by, first of all, I want to go into editing the polygons and throw some there. Divide in 4. Divide 4 and make sure everything's fine. Yeah, let's do that. That's probably okay. And let's have the mouth open, activate. So, alright, so we got the mouth closed state, 2 of them, and here's what we're gonna do. We are going to do the half open first. Actually, that's crazy because we even half open won't be seeing it at all. So how about let's do this? Let's have it opacity 0 at those 2 initial points, since we're not seeing it anyways. And now we have this area becoming the time where it's showing and getting in position. We can do something about that too. We can actually have this opacity at 0, but then what happens is that even though it is right in position between when it's opening its mouth, halfway through it's still half transparent, and that's not okay. It should be fully transparent in between this part, I mean these 2 spots and these 2 spots, right? They shouldn't be half transparent when they are appearing. It's not like they're magically appearing bits. So let's have it in position first. I need it to stretch this much when it opens her mouth. Probably I feel like Live2D messed up some of my sizes as I imported them. I don't know why yet, but it sometimes happens that even I use the scripts to import things, they are a little bit off the scale when I import the materials. But when I know, I'm going to let you guys know. Right now, I'm just going to manually do things. That's probably okay. I would prefer a little bit tighter. Maybe I'll have the, okay, let's have the outer side pushing inwards so that I'll see less of that, you know, hollow browned area. I might need another polygon here in order to avoid that mistake, but or I can I'm just gonna I'm just gonna do this, and I'm gonna pull this back out a little bit so that it doesn't look too deformed. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna throw in those pieces and do it properly. I did not expect this, so I didn't put in those polygons, but I would, if I knew, I would have. Alright, so I have these parts to protect everything beyond this side, alright? So when I squish it, it wouldn't affect those. Also, maybe it's a good idea to do these parts as well. Please do this, do this, do this, this, and this. And now I'm gonna automatically generate the rest. It should be fine, I think. So everything beyond, so these 4 dots here, everything beyond this line on this side is protected, and I can squish it no matter whatever way I want. So I'm gonna select these parts. I'm gonna move them in, and like you see, those parts are protected. And do I want to squish it my way? No, I don't. So I'm just gonna reshape this a little bit. Okay. And I want this to become my new default state, so I don't need to do it 4 times. So let's go, or maybe I can. Yeah, I can probably work with it for now. What I need now is for it to shrink. Okay, let's do this. Let's have 0.55 another point. Yes. So at 0.55, I want you to put in another perimeter anchor point, and right here, I wanted the opacity to be already at 100. All right. So it's crazy here. There's 0% here at 0.5, and 0.55 I have 100%. So it's suddenly maximized out its opacity in between that split moment. Yes, it's literally it's gradually getting from 0 to 100, but on the visual, if you're looking at the animation, especially when mouth open and close that fast, you don't see it at all. You just see it perfectly appear from 0 to 100. All right, just skipping from none to maximum. So we got that, and the reason I'm being so is because I want you to now do this. These parts should also hide those bleeding parts. All right, and perhaps squishing a little bit more so that the white pieces cover completely that part we're working on. And now we got this working. I see a glimpse of weird what okay excuse me. We are 0, it's popping at 100, and that's why it's sort of looking weird. So let's distort it. Let's distort it completely, like almost like that. And you don't see any, well, maybe a split moment of weird stuff happening, but majorly it's fine. If you want to do a little bit more, here's what you can do. Actually squish this part. Actually squish this part. There. That kind is what sort of like a hacking that I'm doing, and it's working pretty well. The mouth seems much better. Alright, so we got the mouth opening done. We gotta do mouth shaping because there's like a flat, like an unhappy mouth, there's a normal mouth, and there's a very big, like loud mouth or a very happy mouth. And so that's what the mouth deform perimeter is for. So we're probably gonna do that next episode because this episode is pretty long already, and I lose my voice, and also we will need the deformer to start kicking in because Deformer should be controlling it to move around as the face move around. We can try to link it directly to the face deformer and see how that goes. If it works, we'll stick with it. If not, we need another transformer and do those 9 anchor points for angle X and angle Y. So let's select everything on the mouth and let's say, hey, let's just stick with face transformer. And let's see. Okay, no, that's a lot of work to fix. Yes, that's a major amount of work to fix, and it's not working. So let's take that off. This time we will have it connected to the mouth transformer. Let's move it back in place. About this, I'm sure I need a little bit taller than this just to contain all the white piece. So I got this in, and now I need these parts to go with the mouth transformer. So let's go with mouth transformer here. Actually, let's go with mouth deform transformer, and then let me think. I'm gonna do mouth deform, and if these go with the mouth transform, then mouth deform wouldn't be its parents. That means that shouldn't mean anything. That should be. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I should be telling with the mouth transformer. I'm just confused. Why is it this small? I thought I have other plans, but I don't think I have any blender plans. So let's get this. It's sort of disordered, so I'm not going to use this. Okay, so mouth transformer, it's what determines its position, and then mouth deformer is what changes the shape of the mouth for different expressions. So I am going to select empty, create deformer, and I give it a curve, and it's called the mouth deform transformer, and its parent would be mouth transform. Okay, so I got this in. I'm gonna make sure that someone contains both of the mouth. I don't need all of them. Like, I don't need the white piece extensively, but at least the shown parts. And I'll have all these to be the mouth deform transformer as the parent. Double check, they're all good. Mouth deform is under mouth transform, and now we can play with the mouth. Why is it already deforming? This is going with mouth. This goes with the next transformer, but this isn't transforming the neck. Alright, so we got some crazy stuff happening. And what I learned from last episode is this is what happens. I don't see green dots, but how come the y-axis seems to be working already? And I go in and realize the y-axis is still activate from some remaining that I haven't deleted completely from the last save point. So let's break them up. Have a look. Okay, when you break up the angle X and angle Y, you'll see green dots here, and you know something is terribly wrong. So let's go there, delete everything, press OK, and let's give those back in. Add 3 points for X and Y, and press OK. Select the blue ring, and now we have 9 green dots, but also they aren't effective at all. Nothing is moving, and that's what I want. So let's do, when it looks up, it goes this much. And yes, I do see a little bit of bleeding on top. In this case, I will have it. Okay, I can't because I'll squish everything beneath it. I'm just gonna move this part. It's okay to abuse that the shape of the white piece because you're not gonna see it usually. If you carefully do, unless you have weird animations, but otherwise it shouldn't be showing. So let's give it a check. It goes up, and I don't see no bleeding, so that's fine. And now let's do other angles, including down. So let's have it move down. Maybe squish a little bit, not that too much. I'm gonna squish a little bit, oops, like that. Maybe narrow it down the bottom, and I'll have that bleeding part hidden as well. That seems like quite a lot. And then we got up and down. And I'm probably gonna move the down a little bit more because it doesn't seem like it's in some proportion. I'm gonna move out this one. And I can actually, I don't want to do that. So we got this. Maybe a little bit more. Yes, that seems more reasonable. And now we need to do the side. Please move your mouth over there. Move this part over here. Move that part over there. And sort of this kind of curve. So from here to here, there's a little crescent curve here, and that's what I want to do. Move, yes, good. And then move the other side as well. Transformer, and let's do the same. Move it to here. Is that too much? I think that's okay. So curve it a little bit. Narrow the bottom, or narrow it this way. Whoa, why is it not moving? Okay, that's gonna have some little problem. Let's double check this and this. They don't seem mirroring too well because this probably needs to move a little bit more. And I may need it to shift its angle a little bit more over here. How come it seems to not affect certain parts? Oh, I touched the wrong transformer. Okay. So that is terrible. I was selecting the wrong deformer, so that's why it's completely worse. And I'm gonna move it a little bit more. I'm gonna do the same thing. So yeah, I got this, left and right. And I probably want a little bit more banana shape. It's not working for me too well. Yeah, it's gonna wreck the material. Anyways, you get the idea. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on refining my work. Yeah, okay, so, and again, at this point, I should be using the synthesizer tool to do the 4 remaining corners, diagonal corners, but like I said from last episode, if you already had used the tool for the eyes or for the face, and afterwards you did some refinement, so you moved these parts a little bit manually, and when you re-synthesize, or if you synthesize your mouth at this point, you will be re-synthesizing the eyes and the face as well. So whatever effort you've done in refining the little bits and pieces will be overwritten. So you don't want to waste the effort. So always leave it to the last. But since I'm showing parts and parts each episode, that's why I have it ahead of time. Otherwise, I would have left it to the last part before I synthesize the corners. Anyways, you get the idea, right? So at this point, you should be either finishing up everything else before synthesize the corner, or you can do them manually for the four corners, which is not a lot of effort. It's not horrible. I mean, it's just a mouthpiece. Also, you want to check it when it's mouth closed. See if it's working. Up, right, down, left. And it's actually quite okay. If you need to use guide image, go ahead. We should still have those guide images down. Did I throw in the mouth when I do guide images? I forgot. I'm gonna have a look. Turn on the guide, and I'm gonna check my drawings. I'm gonna guide image, and I'm gonna visualize. I'm gonna turn on the vision, and I'm going to. Yes, I do. So I did, and I'm sure you also did. If you follow my steps, you also did the mouth for the guidance, and again, just do the same thing. Turn on the guide, and position your normal lips, and then open up the mouth and see if you got some bleeding down to here, the chin, or the nose or whatnot. So that's sort of what can help you to get things done more efficiently. All right, since you got the guide image down ready. So otherwise, just go with your guts and should be more or less accurate anyways. And that's about for the mouth. And next episode, I'll talk about how to do the shape, how to make it smile. I mean, yeah, well, if you're not smiling, then, or how to smile at maximum width, open the mouth in the widest shape, or do a sad face and other things. So expressions for next episode.